Hey guys, Chris here with Rooted. I'm so excited to talk with you about the music part of songwriting. And we're going to do this kind of songwriting series in a part 1 and part 2 sequence. We're going to talk about the music part of songwriting today. And then next week, I'm going to have one of my other coaches named E.B. Cole talk with us about the lyric part of songwriting. So it's going to be really fun. I hope you really enjoy these next couple weeks. But today what we want to talk about is the music part of songwriting. This is going to be more so on a basic level. For any of you, maybe you've always wanted to write a song. Maybe you play piano or you play guitar or maybe another instrument, and you just haven't quite figured out how to get a song going. Maybe you have an idea for a song, maybe you have an idea for a melody, and you don't know what chords to put to it, or maybe you have lyrics, but you don't know how the chords to put to it. I was always the opposite. I always knew what chords I wanted to play and a melody to play, but I was always really bad at the lyrics. And so the music was something that always came very easy for me. And so I'm excited to share with you a little bit about that today. And I want to help make that an easier process to just get a song down. It doesn't have to be complex, doesn't have to be complicated, but you just want to get an idea down and then be able to go from there. You'd be very surprised that if you don't already know this, that whenever a professional artist or a band goes to do what's called demo a song, it doesn't sound amazing. Whenever they just get an idea down, a lot of times it's a voice memo on your phone. And a lot of times you're just playing some simple chords on a guitar or on a piano. And sometimes the lyrics aren't even fully complete yet. And a lot of times people just start with that. And there's really, I think, sometimes this misconception that you have to have it all together and you have to have everything completely ready to go, before you ever record something, or before you ever put it in even a voice memo form. But that's just not true. You can get started with anything, even if it's just a few chords for a chorus idea and you have this melody idea for the chorus or for a verse aspect. Whatever it is, maybe you have a few lines around, the lyrics for a chorus. Whatever it is, however simple it is, you just want to start with that and then let yourself go from there. This is a very creative process. And it's not like, okay, I'm going to set aside an hour and we're going to knock everything out. It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes it comes in spurts. I've known people who've, spent, days, months writing songs. And then other people who, an idea just comes to them and 30 minutes later they have a great song. It's kind of interesting how that works from person to person. But the main thing you want to keep in mind is that it is a process, and it's not like you're shooting for this one particular goal or this one particular target. You're trying to get down your idea into a form that maybe you can enjoy it, maybe other people that can enjoy it, but you got to remember it's a process. And so anytime you do something for the first time, like try and write a song, it's probably not going to be your best ever work. You know what I mean? So you probably want to just, go and temper your expectations at the outset. Just go ahead and think, okay, I'm going to start. And whatever comes out is going to come out. It doesn't matter how great I think it is, how awesome I think it is. This is a process. And so as you begin writing is a process too, just like learning an instrument. When you began learning guitar or piano or any other instrument or began to sing, it's not like you were the most amazing person at that instrument that moment, right? Like it takes time to develop your skill and your ability to be able to play the instrument and play the songs that you know and love. And the same thing is true of writing. It is a process. So the first thing you write probably won't be the best thing you write, but that's a good thing because we're going to learn and we're going to grow. But hopefully today, as I said earlier, it's just going to get you ready, get you in the mode where you can start writing something and get something down in a pretty easy format, okay? So the way I want to present this is kind of through the Nashville numbers. And if you've tracked with us before, you've seen kind of how we've broke down the Nashville number system, how we talked kind of in depth about how that works in the context of a piano or a guitar, just in music in general. And if you understand the Nashville number system, then really it just comes down to what key you want to sing or play or write this song in, right? So if you're a girl, a lot of times a great key for women is D or E. Those are pretty common keys. If you're a guy, a lot of times A or B, maybe G is going to be a better key for you. That's not for everybody, but a lot of times that seems to be the case. And so once you pick your key that you want your song to be in, especially if you're starting with chords and you're trying to get an idea down, then from there you can simply, it's as easy as this, you can simply choose 3, maybe 4 different chords and start with that. Maybe, and if you know the natural number system, which is, just the chords 1 through 7 that you can play in any key, then maybe you start with, you just kind of randomly pick 4 numbers 1 through 7 that you want to use, and you just kind of play around with it. If I was starting to write a song, a lot of times I'd probably play around a 6, a 4, maybe a 1 over 3, and a 5. Maybe I'd throw a true 1 in there. I would kind of play around with like a 6, 4, a 5, and a 1, maybe a 3 aspect in there somewhere. Those are chords that I really love playing. Not that there's anything wrong with playing a 1 all by itself, or a 2 or a 3. It's just that's where I would start. And you want to keep it pretty simple whenever you're starting out. Maybe when you're starting to write this song, pick a pretty, mid-level tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Something not too fast, but also not too slow, that just kind of keeps the song moving. And just to keep it really easy and really basic, maybe just say, hey, I'm going to put 4 beats on every single chord, and I'm just going to play this chord and hold it, play that 6 chord for 4 solid beats, and then move to the 4 chord for 4 solid beats, and then go to the 1 and then to the 5, and just let yourself kind of hear the progression. A lot of this is trial and error. As you begin working through some of this stuff, you're going to figure out what you want to hear and what your ear wants to hear and where you want to go. And that's kind of the beauty of music. It's not just so templated out that like this always makes sense and this is always the best route. It's kind of per your personality and what you want to hear musically. Whenever I write music, a lot of times I'm just sitting there playing something for probably 30 minutes until I get something that I really, really am liking a lot. And sometimes I'll start out with a progression that I don't really like so much, and I'll kind of shift some things around. Maybe I'll even move keys. There are some keys that you might just find that you really love playing in and you enjoy playing in more than others, or sound better with your voice more than others. So a lot of this is a little bit of a give and take. It's a little bit of a trial and error. But one easy way to get started is just simply choosing 4 chords. And I would probably stick to 1 through 6 as far as the numbers go. The 7, the true 7 chord, is a diminished chord, and it doesn't sound amazing in the context of most of the other chords you're playing. It just kind of sounds a bit out of place if you're writing more of a modern, either worship or pop song. And so I would kind of stay away from that one. But any of the numbers 1 through 6, choose 4 of them or 3 of them, and just choose to have, okay, I'm going to say 4 beats on each one of these chords, and I'm going to start with that progression and see how it sounds. From there, your ear is going to tell you the rest. Your ear is going to indicate to you, oh, I do like the way this feels, going from a 6 to a 4, or maybe I don't. Maybe I really want to go from a 6 to a 5, and then to a 3, and then to a 4. You want to let your ear and what you feel, what you want to convey, dictate some of this stuff as well. And so as you get started, that's just a really basic way to get going. After you get those 4 chords down, then you want to be thinking of, okay, what about the direction of the song? What am I trying to convey? What do I want to write a song around? Which the lyrics will come later. But even as you're choosing the chords, you want to choose chords that indicate well what you're trying to get across, right? So if you're writing a really happy song, chances are you're going to choose more major chords. If you're writing more of a sad song, then you probably want to use more minor chords and not as many 1s and 5s, which are really dominant chords. And so maybe you start with a 6, and then maybe you move to a 3, but instead of like a 1 over 3, which is like a happier version of the 3, maybe you choose to play the true 3 chord, the minor chord. And then you have a 2 in there. So your 2, your 3, and your 6 are your minor options. Your 1, your 4, and your 5 chord in any key are your major options. And so knowing that and kind of having the basis of the natural number system just gives you an idea of what you can and can't do. You know what direction you want to go. And okay, is this going to be more of a moderate, or are we happy, or are we sad? Knowing that, and then choosing the chords based on that, and then kind of letting your ear decide where you want to go next. After the chords are built, that's when it gets really fun, because then you can start hearing some melody, and maybe you don't even play the melody. Maybe you're just singing it in your head that kind of goes along with the chords that you're playing. Typically, if you stay around the notes in whatever key that you're in as far as that major scale goes, you're going to be in pretty good shape. But as you start hearing some of this melody, a lot of times it's just going to come to you as you're writing, especially if you're more of a creative type. You're going to be playing these chords and you're going to start having ideas. The best way to do that is just to get it down in a voice memo on your phone. Just play the chords, sing the melody over top top of it so you can kind of have a full spectrum picture of what's going on there. And I think that's going to be a really easy way to go about this. Again, I want to keep this basic for you because writing a song can be a really daunting task if you've never done it before. If you've already done this, then some of this may be too basic for you, and I totally get it. But if you've never written a song before, just getting something on paper is like the most daunting thing in the world. I've talked to so many of you who've told me that very thing. Like, I don't even know where to start. I have these ideas, and I know kind of what I want it to sound like, but I don't even know what to do. Like, how do I get this stuff down on paper? How do I need to do this? And so that's kind of what I want to present to you today, is just the really basic version of doing this. Now, we also have this songwriting course. It's like a 3-part series on how to write your first song in 3 pretty easy steps. Okay, it's a 3-video series that just kind of walks you through breaking down the natural number system so you fully understand that, choosing your chords, and then putting these chords in every section of the song based on what you want to hear, and kind of how to flow with, the vibe of the song, how each aspect and how each section of the song relates to one another. If you want to check that out, I'd love for you to email me at chris@rootedmusiconline.com to check out that songwriting course. I'd love to just send you a little preview over so you can get a taste of what it's going to be like. But it's a really great option to go from here. If you find that you really enjoy doing this and you want just some further guidance, I think that's a really great place to start after this video. But today, I hope this makes a lot of sense. I hope this kind of breaks it down for you. Start with your Nashville number system. Start with numbers 1 through 6. Choose 4 of them. Keep it really basic, like a moderate tempo, nothing too fast, too slow. Hold each chord for 4 beats just to give your ear a chance to process the progression, and then allow your ear and allow what you want to hear to kind of pervade what you're playing. And so play those chords to a voice memo, and maybe if you're hearing a melody, sing over it and sing that melody that you're hearing over it. And once you have that, then you have the basis for a song. No matter what section it is, maybe that's the chorus progression or maybe it's a verse progression. No matter what that is, that can be the basis and the bedrock for how you build your songs. And then as we get to lyrics next week, you can start putting some of those words around the framework of those chords, and you'll start having sections and eventually an entire song. It'll be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed today. I hope this makes a lot of sense. If you have any questions, I'd love for you to reach out to me. Again, my email is chris@rootedmusiconline.com. I'd love to help you with that. If you're interested in the songwriting course, I'd love to share that with you today too. But I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.